of the objects that we use today are made out of plastic. Although plastics are a convenient material to develop, they have detrimental effects on the environment. It is important to know that not all plastics are biodegradable. Hence, when we throw plastics away, they take up whatever limited space that we have in Singapore. According to the Ministry of Environment and Water Resources, we use about 200,000 tons of solid waste each year, and only 11% is recyclable. If we continue to stay this way, we will not have any space left to bury our trash. The only way to get rid of our plastics is only through incineration, but burning them will only release harmful gases that hurt the ozone layer. Therefore, this is an urgent need that will need to be remedied now if we want our children and grandchildren to live in a better Singapore. There are simple 4 actions that everyone can take to bring a better future for tomorrow. These are reduce, reuse, recycle. Let us think twice before we throw that piece of plastic away. In this video, we will talk about how we can play a proactive part to save the world. Reducing means that we have to limit the amount of solid waste whenever possible. Practice efficiency in consumption by buying and using what is needed. Reduce usage of plastic or paper bags by bringing your own shopping bags. Avoid using disposable wares. Use reusable containers instead. Write or print on both sides of paper.
Ways to reuse plastics. Firstly, use reusable plastic containers instead of disposable ones. Plastic bottles for beverages are made from a low-grade plastic called PET. As PET bottles are not reusable, people practice the buy and throw culture after using these bottles. Such habits have contributed to 60 million PET bottles being thrown away in the US daily, which accounted to a total of 35 billion PET bottles in landfills and incinerators annually. Secondly, turn plastic waste into useful items and art. Didier Ng, a local designer, reuses plastic waste such as bottles and used banners to create products like furniture and bags. Lastly, the government can impose a levy on plastic use to encourage reuse of plastics. Since 2002, Ireland imposed a 22 cents tax on consumers when they use plastic bags. This move is highly successful as 75% of consumers have switched to reusable bags to cut costs. Likewise, Singapore can do the same. Recycle. Not all plastics are recyclable, so we have to be aware of which are those that can be recycled and which are those that cannot be recycled. By recycling plastics, we can save natural resources and reduce pollutant production, allowing us to reduce harm brought to the environment and live more sustainably. By recycling, we are able to, firstly, provide a sustainable source of raw materials. Once the plastics are recycled, they are sent to manufacturing industries where they can be reshaped and made into new products. Less manufacturing of new plastics will be required. Secondly, it reduces environmental problems. By recycling plastics, there will be less pollution to block drainage systems or harm the ecosystem. Less plastics will be incinerated and hence, less toxic gases will be produced. Lastly, it reduces landfill problems. Recycling plastics reduces the amount of plastic waste being brought to garbage landfill. More land can thus be used for other purposes, such as for agriculture or human settlement. There are also many recycling programs carried out in Singapore, many of which can be found in school, home, the office, and through public recycling bins. All of us can play a role in the recycling of plastics. However, before we do so, it's important to remember that we should first reduce and reuse our plastic waste.
Singapore's efforts. On average, the amount of waste generated by each Singaporean has increased by 200 kg by 2014. In 2015 alone, the overall waste generated in Singapore hit 7.67 million tonnes, second highest to 7.85 million tonnes produced in 2013. Programs initiated include, for plastic disposable, position paper on the reduction of single-use plastic disposables. It aims to reduce the consumption of single-use plastic disposable in Singapore. The benefits from this position paper is firstly reinforce Singapore's image as a clean and green city and a zero-waste nation. Secondly, contribute to our national target of 70% recycling rate by 2030. Thirdly, reduce plastic litter that goes into our waterway. Fourthly, reduce carbon emissions from incineration of plastic. BYO or Bring Your Own campaign, retailers sign up to this campaign offer incentives to customers who bring their own reusable containers, bottles or bags. However, this campaign is still a work in progress. The goals from this campaign include signing up 500 retail outlets and reduce 1 million pieces of disposables in 2017. However, for biopolymer, in 2013, scientific researchers from A-Star successfully engineered lipid-extracted biomass from microalgae into lactic acid. Lactic acid is high in demand as a feedstock for polylactic acid. Polylactic acid is associated with numerous medical applications, for example, surgical suture. Sweden's effort. On average, each Swede uses only 80 plastic bags per year, and Sweden's Environmental Protection Agency has proposed to raise the fee for plastic bags to 5 krona, equivalent to 80 cents in Singapore dollars, compared to the current fee of 2 krona. In comparison, Singaporeans use far more plastic bags than the Swedes. One reason could be that plastic bags are free, so Singaporeans use it liberally, with little consideration for our environment. Sweden is famous for being environmentally friendly. More than 99% of all household waste are recycled in one way or another. In comparison, Singapore's domestic recycling rate is only 19% in 2014. In Sweden, recycling stations are within 300 meters from residential areas. Most Swedes separate all recyclable waste in their homes and deposit it in recycling bins or drop it off at recycling stations. In contrast, many Singaporeans do not even know which type of plastic is recyclable.